Hello everyone, Yom Tov. It's Wednesday and it's time for your folk tales and fables. Well, we've got a very special one here today. It's going to be dedicated to a Havener who's been here right from the very beginning, but she's been a bit of a silent partner, shall we say. She doesn't comment very often, but when she does, it's fantastic to hear from her. This lady is someone that I look upon as another of my adopted online daughters. I've known her for over a year. I haven't really mentioned her much, if at all, because she likes her privacy. And, you know, I respected that. But we talk quite often, you know, if not every other day, then at least once a week. And that, as I say, has been going on for over a year. She is a wonderful girl to have as another daughter. She really is. She's a ballerina. And she's magical because she's visually impaired, like my own daughter. So as you can imagine, there was a bond there, and it's just built over the months, and she's had some awful ups and downs, and she's having a rough time at the moment. She lives in America, in California, and like I said, she loves the story and the ballet of the story that I'm going to read to you today. So this is for Selene. So hello Selene love, I know you're going to be watching. This video is for you. I hope it makes you smile, and I hope that the next time we talk, that the tears you have are happy ones. I love you very, very much, and like I said, I'm glad to be able to talk about you at last to all the other Haveners. But like I said, you've been with me since the very first video I ever made. And as much as I wanted to talk about you, you very much wanted to stay in the background. Well, today you're up front and centre. So, without further ado, I am dedicating today's story based on a Russian folk tale. And it's now known as a very famous ballet, and the music is by Stravinsky. This story is called The Firebird, and I've never read it before, so it's a first for me, and it may well be a first for all you other Haveners. So without further ado, I'm going to start reading it now, so please sit back, relax, and I hope you do enjoy the story of The Firebird from Russia. Once upon a time, there was a Tsar named Berende who had 3 sons. The Tsar's palace was surrounded by a beautiful orchard, and among the trees in the orchard was a wonderful apple tree that bore golden apples. One day, the Tsar discovered that someone was getting into the orchard and stealing his golden apples. He was furious, and he sent his guards to catch the thief. But though they watched all night, they were quite unsuccessful. The Tsar was so upset at the loss of his golden apples that he lost his appetite too. His sons tried to comfort him, and the eldest told him, "I will go and guard the orchard against the thief tonight, father." So he went off to the orchard, but although he arrived there quite early in the evening and walked about for some time, he saw no one. So he lay down on a grassy bank and he soon fell asleep. Next morning his father asked him, "Well, have you got good news for me? Did you see the thief?" "No, father," his son answered. "I didn't sleep a wink all night. I didn't even close my eyes, but I saw no one." Bloody little liar. We know he lay down and fell asleep. Dear me. Always with the lies. The following night, the Tsar's second son went to guard the orchard, but he too slept all night, and next morning he told his father that he too had seen no sign of a thief, although he hadn't closed his eyes. Do we believe him? Is the jury out on this one? We'll see. Now it was the turn of the youngest brother, Prince Ivan, to guard the orchard, and he was so nervous not to miss the thief that he was afraid to even sit down, let alone lie down. When he felt he was getting drowsy, he washed his face with dew, and this made him wide awake again. About halfway through the night, he thought he saw a light in the orchard. It grew brighter and brighter until all the trees were lit up. Then he saw that the light was coming from a Firebird, which was sitting on the apple tree and pecking at the golden apples. So he crept up very quietly to the tree and caught hold of the bird by the tail. But the Firebird spread its wings and flew away, leaving only one tail feather in Prince Ivan's hand. Well, the next morning when he went to report to his father, the Tsar asked him, "Well, Ivan, did you see the thief?" "Dear father," Ivan answered, "I cannot say I caught him, but I have found out who is eating our apples, and I brought you a tail feather in proof. It is the Firebird." The Tsar took the feather and looked at it, and no longer felt sorrowful. But he thought a great deal about the Firebird, and one day he sent for his sons and told them, "My dear children, I want you to saddle good horses and ride forth into the world to see whether you can find and bring back the Firebird." The young men bowed to their father, saddled good horses, and set out on their travels. The eldest in one direction, the second son in another, and Prince Ivan in a third direction. Well, he rode near and far, high and low, along the bypaths and byways, for speedily a tale is spun, but with less speed a deed is done, until he came to a wide open field and a green meadow. And there in the field stood a pillar, and on the pillar these words were written, "Whosoever goes from this pillar on the road straight before him will be cold and hungry. Whosoever goes to the right side will be safe and sound, but his horse will be killed. And whosoever goes to the left side will be killed himself, but his horse will be safe and sound." Well, Prince Ivan read this inscription and went to the right, thinking that although his horse might be killed, he himself would remain alive and would in time get another horse. He rode one day, and then the second day, then the third. Suddenly, an enormous grey wolf came towards him and said, "Ah, so it's you, young lad, Prince Ivan." You saw the inscription on the pillar that said your horse would be killed if you came this way. Why then have you come hither?" When he'd said these words, he tore Prince Ivan's horse in twain and ran off to one side. Prince Ivan was sorely grieved for his horse. He shed bitter tears and then continued on foot. He walked a whole day and was utterly exhausted. He was about to sit down and rest for a while, when all at once the grey wolf caught up with him and said, "I'm sorry for you, Prince Ivan, because you were exhausted from walking. I'm also sorry that I ate your good horse. Tell me, why have you travelled so far, and where are you going?" "My father has sent me to ride through the world until I find the Firebird." "Why, you could have ridden even your good horse for 3 years and never found the Firebird, for only I know where it lives. I ate your horse, so now I will serve you faithfully and serve you well. Get on my back and hold on tight." Prince Ivan seated himself astride the grey wolf, and it lopped away past the green forests and the azure lakes. At last they came to a very high fortress. There the grey wolf told Ivan, "Listen to me and remember what I say. Climb over the wall and do not be afraid. All the guards are asleep. In the attic you will see a small window. In the window hangs a golden cage, and in that cage is the Firebird. Take the bird and hide it under your coat, but be sure, do not touch the cage." Well, Prince Ivan climbed over the wall and saw the attic. And just as the wolf had said, in the attic window a golden cage was hanging, and the Firebird was in the cage. He took out the bird and put it under his coat. But as he looked at the golden cage, he couldn't help wanting it. He coveted it. He wanted it. It was made of precious gold. How could he leave it behind? Completely forgot what the wolf had told him. But as soon as he touched the cage, the alarm was sounded all throughout the fortress. Drums rolled and trumpets blared. The guards woke up. They captured the Prince Ivan and took him to Tsar Afron. The Tsar was furious at this attempt to steal the Firebird and its cage, and asked the prince, "Who are you, and where are you from?" "I am Prince Ivan, the son of Tsar Berende," Ivan replied. "How shameful! The son of a Tsar coming here to steal!" the Tsar exclaimed. That is as may be," the prince retorted. "But your bird flew into our orchard and stole the golden apples." "Well, in that case, you should have come to me and asked me for the Firebird, and I would have given it to you out of respect for your father. But now I shall see to it that all the world knows of your behaviour. And in order to earn my forgiveness, you will have to enter my service. A certain Tsar Kuzman has a horse with a golden mane. Bring that horse to me, and I will give you the Firebird and the cage." Prince Ivan was downcast at the thought of having to undertake such a task, and he went to tell the grey wolf what had happened. But the wolf said to him, "I told you not to touch the cage. Why did you disobey me?" "I know I did wrong, but please forgive me, Grey Wolf." "It is easy enough to ask for forgiveness," the wolf answered. "All right, get on my back again. We won't turn back now." Once more, the grey wolf lopped off with Prince Ivan on its back. And at last they came to a fortress where the horse with the golden mane was stabled. Then the wolf told Ivan, "Climb over the wall. Do not be afraid. The guards are asleep. Go to the stable and bring out the horse. But be sure not to touch the bridle that you see hanging there." The prince climbed over the wall into the fortress and saw that the guards were asleep. He went straight to the stable and found the horse with the golden mane. But his eyes fell on the bridle hanging up. It was of gold and studded with precious stones. The only bridle fit for a horse with a golden mane. And he put out his hand to take it. But at once the alarms sounded all throughout the fortress. The drums rolled, the trumpets blared, the guards woke up, and they took the prince a prisoner and led him before Tsar Kuzman. "Who are you, and where are you from?" the Tsar asked Ivan. "I am Prince Ivan." "To attempt to steal a horse shows little wisdom. Even a peasant wouldn't try to do that. But I will let you off, Prince Ivan, if you agree to enter my service. A certain Tsar named Dalmat has a daughter, the beautiful Helen. Carry her off and bring her to me, and then I will give you the golden-maned horse and the golden bridle." At this verdict, Prince Ivan was even more downcast than before. Again he went to see the grey wolf, but the wolf said, "I told you not to touch the bridle. You didn't obey my orders." "Nevertheless, forgive me, grey wolf," the prince pleaded. "It is all very well saying forgive. All right, get on my back." And once more the grey wolf raced off with Prince Ivan on his back until they came to Tsar Dalmat's fortress. But this time the grey wolf said to the prince, "I am not going to do this and tell you again so that you don't do as I tell you. I am going to sort this out myself. You set back to Tsar Afron. I will soon catch up." Prince Ivan obediently started to go back, while the grey wolf sprang over the fortress wall and into the garden. And in the garden, the beautiful Helen was walking with her attendants. The wolf sat behind a bush and watched them, and the moment the princess fell a little way behind her attendants, the wolf seized her, flung her over his back, and scampered away. Ivan had gone some distance when the grey wolf caught up with him, bringing the beautiful Helen sitting on its back. The prince was delighted, but the wolf said, "Quick, get on my back, in case we're followed." The prince sat on the wolf's back behind the princess, and the wolf rushed away with them, past the green forests and the Asia rivers and the lakes. And at last they arrived at Tsar Kuzman's fortress. But the prince seemed very sad, so the wolf asked, "Why are you silent, Prince Ivan? Are you sad?" "Have I not good reason to be, Grey Wolf? How can I part with this beautiful princess? How can I exchange her for a horse?" The wolf said, "I will see to it that you are not parted from her," he promised. "We will hide us somewhere, and then I will turn myself into the beautiful Princess Helen, and you can lead me to the Tsar." So they hid the princess in a forest hut. Then the grey wolf uttered a magic spell and at once became her living image. Prince Ivan took her to Tsar Kuzman. The Tsar was delighted and said, "Thank you, Prince Ivan, for getting me such a beautiful woman for my wife. Take the golden-maned horse and the bridle." The prince bridled the horse, mounted it, and rode off to the hut where the true Helen was hidden. He seated her behind him on the horse, and they rode away. Meanwhile, Tsar Kuzman made arrangements for his wedding, feasted all day and half the night, and when it was time for bed, he led the mock princess into his bedroom. But when he lay down beside his beautiful young wife, he found he wasn't lying beside his beautiful young wife. He was lying beside a grey wolf. He was terrified and fled, and the wolf slipped away and out of the fortress. And when the wolf caught up with Prince Ivan, it noticed that he was looking sad again. So it asked, "Why are you so thoughtful, Prince?" "I've good reason to be. I'm sad to think I've got to give up the golden-maned horse in exchange for the Firebird." "Do not be downhearted. I'll help you," said the wolf. When they arrived at Tsar Afron's fortress, the wolf said, "You go and hide the horse and the princess. Then I will turn myself into the golden-maned horse, and you can take me to Tsar Afron." So they hid Helen and the horse in the forest. The grey wolf uttered a magic spell and became a golden-maned horse, and Ivan led the horse to the Tsar. Tsar Afron was delighted and gave him the Firebird and the golden cage as well. The prince carried the cage with the bird into the forest, seated the princess on the golden-maned horse, and rode off on his journey back to his native country. Meanwhile, Tsar Kuzman gave the order for the golden-maned horse to be brought to him. But when he tried to mount it, the horse turned into a grey wolf. The Tsar was so frightened that he fell to the ground, while the grey wolf made good its escape and soon overtook Prince Ivan. "Now I must say goodbye. I cannot come any further," told the prince. So Ivan dismounted from his horse and bowed very low 3 times, thanking the grey wolf respectfully. But the wolf said, "Do not bid goodbye forever to me. I shall yet be of service to you." "How can you be of any further service to me?" Ivan said. "All my wishes have come true." But he mounted the golden-maned horse and rode away with the beautiful Helen and the Firebird. He arrived in his own country, but as he'd still some way to go to reach home, he decided to have a rest at midday. So they ate some food, drank water from a spring, and lay down to rest. No sooner had the prince fallen asleep than his brothers happened to ride past and saw him. They had travelled far and wide in search of the Firebird, but of course they hadn't found it. When they saw their brother lying asleep and noticed that he had the Firebird, the horse with its bridle, and even a beautiful girl, they plotted to kill their brother and take everything for themselves. Greedy so-and-sos. So they killed Prince Ivan, seated themselves on the golden-maned horse, put beautiful Helen on another, and threatened her. "You must not say a word to anyone when we get home." Then they rode off with the horse, the princess, and the Firebird to their father. They left Prince Ivan lying dead, with the crows already gathering above him. But suddenly the grey wolf ran up and caught one crow with its young chick. "Crow, you must fly away and bring back to me some sparkling water and some still water. If you bring back the 2 sorts of water, I will let your young one go." The crow agreed and flew off, while the wolf watched over the chick. In due time, the crow flew back with both the sparkling and the still water. Then the wolf sprinkled Ivan's wounds with the still water, and the wounds healed. It sprinkled him with the sparkling water, and the prince revived. "Oh, I've had such a deep sleep," he yawned. "Yes, you were sleeping very soundly," the grey wolf said. "But for me, you would never have awakened. Your own brothers killed you and carried off all you had gained. Now get on my back, quick." The wolf raced off in pursuit of the 2 elder brothers and soon caught up with them. It tore them to pieces and scattered them all over the field. Prince Ivan bowed and thanked the grey wolf once more and said goodbye to it forever. He mounted the golden-maned horse and rode home with the princess. He had obtained the Firebird for his father and the beautiful Helen as a wife for himself. Tsar Berende was delighted to see him with the Firebird and asked him to tell of all his adventures. Prince Ivan told his father how the grey wolf had helped him to win the Firebird, the horse, and the beautiful Helen, and how his brothers had killed him while he was asleep, and how the wolf had restored him to life and then torn them to pieces. The Tsar mourned the loss of his 2 sons, but he was soon comforted by the wedding of Prince Ivan and the beautiful Princess Helen, and they all lived happily ever after. The end. So, what do you think of that? I thought, well, it was a bit gory, I suppose, at the end, having bits of chopped up princes all over a field. But do you know what? If you're going to come up and kill somebody in their sleep, then it's what you deserve. Don't you agree? I would agree with that. I think it's what they deserve. Well, Selene, love, I hope you enjoyed the story. I hope it was a version that you enjoyed. I must admit, I don't really follow the ballet, but you know, I'm going to actually look for something online and see if I can watch the Firebird online as the ballet, now that I know the backstory. So thank you, Helen. I'm thinking of the princess there. Thank you, Selene. God, my brain's melting. Thank you, Selene, for suggesting this story. I hope everybody else loved it as well. I really, really do. So anyway, that's that. Now, I've just looked and I've seen we've got a few minutes, so I'm going to give you a very, very quick royal roundup. Okay. Tick, 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 tick. This is better than Reuters, this. Okay, so you'll know that the Queen and Prince Philip are in self-isolation in Windsor Castle, and they've been there now for over a week. Yeah, it's about a week, or just over a week. She had him airlifted from Sandringham to join her at Windsor, because let's face it, the guy is coming up for 99. He's not in the best of health, and she's probably scared that something might happen to him while she's in one place and he's in another, and they can't get to each other if they can't go out anywhere. So she had him brought up to where she is. So they're together. Then today it was announced that Prince Charles has tested positive for the COVID-19. Apparently it's only a mild to moderate attack. He is doing work in Scotland. Now here's the thing, this is what gets me. 12th of March was the last time you saw the Queen, right? So I don't know whether he had the bug before then, because I still don't know quite how it's transferred. I know it's person to person, but he's been doing various walkabouts and appointments and engagements and things like that, right? So he could have caught it from anywhere. But he was obviously down in London when he got it. And he's just gone up to Scotland with Camilla, and he's taken the virus with him to Balmoral. Now, I don't know about you, but I think that is highly, well, it's dangerous for a start, because it's going to affect, you know, the people on the estate, you know, because, you know, Prince Charles, he has never ever, apart from when he was at Gordonstoun, I believe, not certainly for the past 40 odd years, he has a man put his toothpaste on his toothbrush for him. And that is the absolute truth. He really does. You know? He's extremely pampered. I mean, he stands there while a man pulls up his underpants. I mean, what? You talk about pampered. You know, at least I'd like to think that Prince William can dress himself. I'm sure he can, if it was anything to do with Diana. But no, Charles has his valet dress him and undress him. I don't know. The Queen apparently is going to record a message to boost up the morale of the British people. And it's probably going to be passed on to the Commonwealth as well, I would imagine. So you'll probably find out about the contents of her speech. You'll probably find out that she's made it probably long before I will, because I'll probably have slept through it, knowing my luck. I mean, I wish well of everybody. I mean, I do. But I don't know that many people, not the ones that I've spoken to or what I see online, but nobody seems to care much for Charles. And some people are sort of subtly suggesting that wouldn't it be better if when the Queen goes, William just steps in. I personally feel that would be a great idea, because I'm ashamed to think that Charles may be our king one day. He's, they say he can be incredibly kind and what have you, but I don't know. He can have short bursts of pure rage at his staff. And when he had that phone call to Camilla, oh God, not very nice. So if it skipped a generation, I wouldn't mind. But, you know, we're all going to be kind and wish people well and things like that. So that's what I'm doing. You know, Camilla's all right. She's got a constitution of a horse, that woman. Well, looks like a horse, constitution of a horse. The bonded over horses. Need I say any more? Probably not. I also want to dedicate today's eye look to my friend Angie of 4F Beauty. She's doing she started this amazing project on her channel, and she's doing the signs of the zodiac. but all the colours that are associated with the different signs. And I found out what my colours are on the colour spectrum that she put together. And then she did a look on that the other day, and it was quite dark and stormy and very, very me. Today she did the ruling planets. And of course I'm a Capricorn, so the ruling planet is Saturn. And Saturn is pale gold. So my looks are probably maybe a couple of shades darker, because I only worked with what I had. She worked with the naked palette. I don't have that. So I just used my lemon palette and worked with the golds and what have you there. So, like I said, my eye look today is inspired by my friend Angie of 4F Beauty. So thank you very much, Angie. If you take a good look and tell me what you think, I will be delighted, because all constructive criticism is very much welcomed here. Anyway, guys, I do hope you enjoyed the story today. Selene, love, it's been a pleasure dedicating this to you and reading it to you, so much love to you. I do hope the rest of you enjoyed it. Please will you wish me luck on our new venture, because I'm hoping, I can't cross my fingers very well, but I'm hoping that next week will be your first true crime video. So I'm not quite sure what I'm doing yet. I don't know whether it'll be someone that we know well or someone that we don't know very well, but I want to mix it up. I want to look at crimes that have sort of gone into the past and that people have forgotten. I want to look into things like that. So I will be doing Chris Watts at some point. Now, what you could do for me, for your homework, if any of you have a particular criminal or crime that they would like me to look into, would you let me know, please? Because, you know, you can be part of it then. And then it's not just me choosing a crime and reading it to you, if it's not the sort of crime you're interested in. And of course, there are all sorts of different crimes, aren't there? There's the worst one, murder, especially the child murder. And then you've got the likes of train robberies, and you've got gangsters, and you've got the mafia, and all that sort of stuff. So if you could let me know if there is a particular crime you'd like me to talk to you about, or if there's a group of people you want me to talk about, like, you know, like the mafia, or if you want me to talk about the St. Valentine's Day Massacre in Chicago in 1929, I can talk to you about that, or John Dillinger, or Al Capone, or, you know, anybody, and anybody, you know, Scott Peterson from, you know, the recent past. So let me know, and then you can be part of it as well. And, you know, if anyone does come up with one, I'll dedicate that video to them. So, anyway, it's gone on a bit longer because it's been a longer story today. I've given you a tiny bit of raw news. So, I am now done. I need to go and take some meds because I'm at about an 8.5 just now out of 10. I'm feeling a bit uncomfortable. So, I'm going to go and get that sorted. I love you guys. I hope that I looked a little bit more jazzy today and sort of got the hair sorted out a bit. And I'm hoping that Angie likes what I've done the nails, all that sort of thing. I just wanted to shine a little bit more. I hope I've achieved that. So anyway, take care, stay safe, wash your hands, drink hot drinks, hot soups, right? And, you know, don't go out unless you're going out for food or medicines, okay? Because we need to beat this thing, right? And I wish Kate would come back. I am really worried about her. The last time I spoke to her, she was talking about having problems with her chest. And I've no way of contacting her. So, all I can hope is that if I keep mentioning her, she'll come back. Because I miss her. Anyway, take care, guys. And I'll see the paranormal crew on Friday. Bye for now, darlings. Bye-bye.